Hi and welcome to Rainy Day Crafting. Hope you're good and thank you very much for joining me. Okay, today Chinese New Year's round the corner fairly. Well, obviously in the card making terms, you know, if you need a little bit of time, it's 1st of February, I believe. Anyway, what I'm going to use, I've got this die set which is from the X-Cut. Good, nice strong dies. A die is a way of cutting out paper. Cardboard at a push, but you know, basically card, paper and things like that. But this the company I think I get these from is Printable Heaven. They're often got some real bargains on. This has got little Chinese symbols down here, which I don't even know what they mean, but I'd like to think they mean something good. Okay, so I was a bit loath to put them on a card in a way, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my usual textured card. Okay, some of the stuff I've got ready earlier purely to sort of save this being a really sort of long-winded video. All right, so what I've already done, this die, which is an unbranded die, is, you know, in the Chinese you sort of often see, well, obviously there's a lovely branch there, and it's almost like apple blossom, you know, with the little pink edges. So anyway, when it's cut out, which I always do mine face down on your paper, whether it be colored paper, plain paper, whatever, but I did mine on, don't know what I've done with it, in a sort of brownie color, which is this espresso, ground espresso. Well, I don't know here, but don't know what I've done with it now. Anyway, not to worry. Which I did earlier, which you don't, you know, so basically cut out, it looks like this, yeah, which is the brown to make it look like branches would. You can obviously just cut it out white and then color it or paint it or whatever, but for me it's easier to do the brown, and then when you're putting the little flowers on top, you know, it just makes it easier as far as I'm concerned. So I do try and give you as many tips as possible. So as far as putting the words on here, I'm just going to put Happy New Year. And you might remember I've got my oldie punch set, which is quite good. Obviously lots of different punch sets available. So Happy New Year. So what I'm going to do, it's almost like lay it out where you want to do things first. So that's going to sort of go there, hanging off there, quite high up maybe. And then the Happy New Year. So I want happy at the top, sort of, yeah, about there. Just want them all nice together. So you can tape it down, weight it down, whatever you feel happy with. Okay, I've got a nice sort of heavy weight there. Move that out of the way. Obviously line it up so it's in the right place. And then my little daubers, my black daubers I keep separate because obviously they're full of ink as a whole. Again, the VersaFine, which I use, the pigment ink, brilliant stuff. Just literally daub it. I do try and put something else down, so, you know, just in case one's fingers has got something that shouldn't have on it, the next thing is all over your card. So, right. So this is on quite thin acetate. You can do it on card. But actually, I found if you do it on acetate, when it's done, I'm going to try and do them all together now because it's, excuse me, and I then put the embossing powder on. So again, I'm just going to put that there. I'm going to hold it down, fingers crossed it don't move. Happy New, and let's just put that one there. Could weight it down or just hold it down. Obviously that's that risk that it might move. Maybe if you daub it, if you've got plenty of ink on there, just daub it, you're sorted. Right, I normally do them one word at a time, but there we go. Oh, I've done all three. Pop that back in there. You don't need it for now. These, as you can see, you can just literally baby wipe, tissue, whatever you have around your craft set. Baby wipes, as far as I'm concerned, are a little godsend. Look, gone, and that's ready for its next outing. Okay, what I'd probably do is put them together, label them up in a little yeah, let them dry because it's not going to be all wet, or you just wipe it off with a tissue. Oh, baby wipes always smell so nice, don't they? Right, see my previous card I've made. Okay. Okay, so with that, we've done that. This is then going to go on there. So, yeah, bit of glue on there and pop that on there. Already from, let's get this one out of the way. So like I say, this is how I store like my flowers and things. Obviously that goes in the bag. That's just those magnetic sheets and those little what do you call them, dividers. And I've just got an old orange box, you know, you get your Christmas tangerines in or something, clementines, and they're such a sturdy box, because actually when you've got a few dies, they are seriously heavy. So right, and that fits back in there, out the way. So now what I want to show you, these, to sort of pick these up a little bit more, I would be putting some of my wonderful sticky back double-sided tape. This is the one that I buy in that Poundland store, in the sort of do-it-yourself sort of part, you know, where you get paintbrushes and things. I forget how many meters are on this, but there's quite a lot, and boy is that sticky though, so it doesn't take any prisoners as far as if you get it wrong. So with this, although it's, you know, there's one of these dies in here, and then there's the other one there, I've already coloured some paper. All I do, here we are, some I've done earlier. You can see these are all the sort of same sort of colour. I use this Ripe Permission with a dauber or one of these brushes on your paper, and just, you'll find when you blend, the more you do, you get better at it, if that makes sense. Okay, and that all those like little finger daubers, whichever you're happy with. And then I, just to save time, I cut out a load of these. So I've cut out the little cat, which is, I think, the gold cat, isn't it? It has that sort of moving arm, doesn't it? So I've done a few bits, and sometimes probably ever so sort of bright in the camera. A couple of dragons, because they're sort of renowned for the Chinese side of things. Also, just to sort of say too, the orange is really popular with the Chinese, as much because it's a symbol of good luck. And the red is all about happiness, success, and good fortune. So obviously, when the Chinese year you start, it's a bit like we sort of, you know, we all say sort of here when we Happy New Year, and you know, there's sort of various traditions we follow. But oranges and reds are very much good, strong symbols. So what I was going to do, where that's going to be sort of hanging on there, let me just maybe finish what I'm doing first instead of going straight onto something else. All the little flowers. So this is, you know, this is one. If you didn't have any, you know, ground espresso like this distress oxide to colour that with, you can do it with felt tips. You could do some paint, couldn't you? Let it dry. I personally just think if you do your base colour first, yeah, and then these little flowers just cut off and stick on top and look really impressive. But also, if I just cut these off here, if I try and do them in order, then it won't. Getting out one of my daubers, which is a nice pinky one. I think this is the one. Not sure now. I think it was. Look at that. Just makes it look. This, I think it's almost like apple blossom, you see. Yeah. So, which you sometimes think, oh, pinks and oranges together. And look at that on there. Quite lovely. So, let's just do, this one's got to go here. Just literally tuck around the edges. Try not to get too much on my hands, because the next thing pink will be everywhere. Okay. Where's the next one coming? Oops. Coming along. If you keep, maybe if you cut them off as you need each one, because you know what it's like, you do them all and then you think, oh, which one's which. Okay, there's different sizes, but yeah. So now this dauber I haven't reloaded anyway. This is just from whenever I last used pink. So then these little bottles that you have your glue in are a godsend, I think, because they've got tiny, they don't seem to clog up at all, and you can use whatever glue you particularly like. So make sure I've got nothing on my hands, because the next thing that will be, oh, actually, in fact, it's not stuck down, so I can could do it this way first of all, can't I? So let's just stick that on there, bit of glue. These are set to be exactly where they go, so I'm just trying to line them up. Okay, this is little one, I think possibly went at the top. Oh, nearly went on the card, didn't it? Oh, it's a brown one. That's no good. Oh, another brown one. Must be this one then. I've always just... I tend to often keep a lot of the little bits and pieces because it's surprising how you can then use them on other cards. So let's just cut that off there. This one's then going to go on this one here. A little bit of pinky again on the edges. There we go. A little bit of glue on the back. I know I've said this a million times probably, but if you then weight it down till it dry, you get a, you know, it stays where you want it and is in the right place. Right, just need to pop one of these here, I think, if you wanted to. You can put a lot more of this apple blossom all... Oh, I hope I do the pink, if not look at the odd one. This is when I get round to knowing how to do what I need to do to edit these. I'll be a fast forward these, won't I? And you won't have to see me doing bit by bit by bit. Sometimes I do cards in different stages, and instead of sort of now showing you bit by this, I'll show one I've done earlier. Although actually I could show you one I've done earlier because I basically went through the process of making my card up. I've done that only a couple of times, to be fair, and I'd actually not turned the video or, you know, the camera on. So basically I was chatting away to myself, oblivious that I weren't recording. Right, just sort of leave that. I would be tempted to sort of leave that so it's all nice, so it dry quite lovely. Now back to this next little stage. You know, I forgot to do. It's dried now. Totally forgot when I did this to then dip it in my embossing powder and then heat seal it. It's dry now, so I can't do it now. I mean, you don't have to do it, but I just think it gives it a much nicer effect. But I'll show you on the finished card I did last time. So I've missed a stage now, but normally when I then done those, I'd have then put the embossing powder over the top. You could leave it then. It doesn't, you can come back to actually do the heat gun on it, but basically it needs, you know, to have stuck on, because when you first do this, when you do the stamping, it's wet, isn't it? So, and then the embossing powder stick to it. So, but anyway, forgot that. So it's just one of those things. I'm going to stick another one of these because I think they are quite lovely just on there. So I've actually missed that part, but you know, as you'll probably see in lots of videos, I show you how I do that, so you won't miss out or look back on some of my previous ones. Okay, so that is quite beautiful, isn't it? So pop it on there. Now what I was just going to quickly show you, I was going to put on the other card, you'll see I've actually put those on there and followed in the same going across there, but I don't know if that might be a culture where it's written back to front. But anyway, I've followed that, or I did do on the previous card and put it that way, but so not sure about that. So there we go. So that's like that. Now where we've got these little lanterns, they're quite beautiful and you could just stick them on there on their own, but I quite like the idea of first of all raising them up as well. But before I do that, I want to emboss them. I'm going to show, not emboss them at all, use my scoring board, okay, which basically just puts a little bit of definition, because these are often, aren't they, they're sort of paper lanterns. So it's all about sort of getting as much authenticity, that's a big word, as you can. So with the scoring board, you might not have one, but I'm going to also show you in a minute another one that will, if I just put this under here, so it comes with this little tool. Just need to hold it in place, and I just want to leave some marks or keep it in the right place so it's scored a little bit, not all the way through necessarily, okay. With something small like this, obviously if you're doing a big card, yeah, can you see? So looks quite good. But if you haven't got this, you could use an old pen, like an empty biro. You know, if you've got an empty biro that you're not using, you can use that. But you could then just get some sort of, if that's that one, which I've done, you could, like I say, if you've got an old biro, so just imagine this is your old biro, not sort of ballpoint, it's not, but then just get yourself a something with a little bit of sort of welly, so it'll just push down onto it a little bit, yeah. Which will more or less do, you know, on something small like this. In actual fact, this is probably easier saying that than the scoring board, because it's such a tiny little thing, you know, if you're doing a bigger project. Okay, so yeah, if I just show you the pair of them, that's the one with the scoring board, and this is one just using one of these bally things, but yeah, so either or. Right, out the way. And then these were the colours I used. They're distressed oxides. I've got the whole set now. They're not cheap, are they? But literally over the last few birthdays and Christmases, I think my husband sort of bought me, I think, a set of 12 each time. So I've actually got the later, I'd say the latest set, I don't know. And I'm waiting to label them up to put on my shelf. But I had them for Christmas, so I must get on with that actually. Although I did think, although they are lovely, there's lots of similar colours. So if you're sort of starting out, you could just get a sort of very basic range, couldn't you? And then sort of, I suppose if I was then suggesting for somebody to buy, say these, I would probably say go for a couple of colours, a couple of different greens, a couple of different oranges or something. And I'm not very good on the arty side, but obviously certain colours when blended together make certain colours, don't they? So you know, you could sort of work around with that. Right, so these are going to go on the card. So to start off, this is going to go on here, and one of those, ooh, let's have maybe there, yeah, and one of these maybe there. Okay, they're both orange. I didn't realize. Oh, do you know what, I didn't realize they were both orange. So let's just quickly do a couple of marks with this, just so I can use this one, because I want to use the two colours. I didn't realise I'd used them up. You could put on a bit of foam, although the foam, just something, give it a little bit more of an indent. The scoring board does do a little bit better, but you know, sometimes it's about improvising. You don't have to have everything that's on the market. Now it's marked that, but if you look at this is the one that I did with the scoring board, and there's definitely, you know, more pronunciation with it. But anyway, it still sort of works. So there's that one, and we shall have that one. So what I'm then going to do is pop sticky scissors. Where are they? Right, that's on the back of that. Then we want this one on the back of this. Go over there. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here. where that is, this is really quite strong. Okay, so I might have to just cut that actual corner off because it's going to show otherwise, which would be terrible. Right, so that's out of the way. But obviously, because the back is sticky, where you've got that orange, I hope I've got enough of the bits and pieces. Look, this is the red, so you can stick. Ta-da! They are stuck. There's some red ones, so just give it a little bit more definition. Yeah, that one there, and hopefully, oh, they're big enough. Hold on, she says. They're so tiny, aren't they? Oh, I don't believe I've not got another red one. Hopefully. There you go. Look at that. Like I say, if you put it in the wrong place, you've had it. So, but because we've got the sticky back there, it literally allows that to hold. So, what I'd be tempted to do is potentially put a little bit of cotton, ribbon, anything you might have on. I'm just now trying to find something, just literally grabbed out of my sewing box. Huge great thing. Let's have a little look. Come from the other end. Oh, here we go. Okay, because it wouldn't need much, would it, if it was hanging? So I think what I would then do, loop this, just a bit of thread. You could use ribbon. There you go. There's one. Could then do another one. So all I've done is pop that into a loop, popped it through there, looped it through there. Okay, and that is basically going to tie onto the branches. Okay, so probably what we need to do now, I'd be tempted to stick these more or less where they're going to go. So this, I think I'm just going to risk it, because if I put this in the wrong place, there's no going back. So let's put that one sort of down here. Yeah, and let's put okay, that one sort of there. Yeah, and what I'd be tempted to do is possibly put a little bit of glue on there and a little bit of glue on there. Yep, so they stick exactly where you want. It's just, I know what I might do. Just for now, so they're in the right place. Pop something with a bit of weight on there. Now this is going to go here somewhere. There's now maybe like that. Okay, want to actually, don't we, sort of by the end there. So basically what you're going to do is then pop a bit of glue on the back of this. Where's my glue gone? Where's my glue gone? Lovely if I can now pop those cottons underneath where they are. Hopefully, if you're enjoying ideas that I'm sort of giving you, and if you haven't, okay, Chinese, you probably need lanterns and things. You might be, I mean, you might be quite artistic because you can cut all these things out because they're not hard shapes, are they? But I must admit, I really do love the different dyes and things on the market. And I just think They cut it so precision, don't they? So this is needing to be here, and whoops, I want to make sure it's by the end there. Okay, so whether I'd love it to be that that's in the right place. So this is probably, if you can be lucky enough to put them in the right place and that holds it where you want it, you're sorted, aren't you? And actually, look, that hanging over there is quite lovely. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. So card nearly done. Do you know what? Should I risk it? Cutting these off. Oh, these won't cut butter. Don't they? These are my sticky scissors, but they're rubbish from that point of view. Okay. And again, do you not think sometimes it's the little things that sort of finish it off? Okay, so another card made. Now, you could put a bit more on if you want, but my saying is less is more, and I personally believe that's enough. Okay, so here's one I did earlier that I never pushed the record button. Similar, okay. Just got to put some pink on there. Same sort of principle. You can sort of see where I've raised those up, but this is the symbols I put on. That's okay, but I'm not sure if it's a bit too much. So these are the cards, but also, for example, if you wanted to, actually that might actually finish it there, look, on there. But if you then, where it's cut out from that set, you would push these out. Oh, it's ever so glittery, isn't it? And yeah, maybe pop that on there. So bit of glue down. Let's put it on there because, well, I don't know. What's your thoughts? Leave me a message. You know, is it too much on the card, or is that, you know, where you can then cut this same die out again and then get, say, the red collar and those little bits and beads and put in there. I'm going to leave it off. So up to you. Or I'll leave it on. I'm going to leave it like that because I'm not sure, but I'd love your opinion on if you think the cat on there is, yep, great, or too much, because I sort of think less is more. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Till the next time, see you soon. Cheers.